be number one to comment. I hope you guys are doing well. Today is the 30th of December, one day to the end of the year. Yeah, this is the year that we normally set New Year's resolutions that most people don't actually live up to. But if you have the knack to live up to, yeah, the New Year's resolutions can actually be very, very empowering. Yeah, I've been working with them for some time, and trust me, they are good. So today we're going to be talking about SUVs and sedans. And when we talk about sedans in Uganda, don't just think about sedans because people don't really like sedans that much. A sedan is like a normal car like the Corolla or like the Primo, but when we talk about sedans in Uganda, we're going to be talking about the hatchbacks and as well. Okay, and I don't want us to think the Ipsum is an SUV. No. Let's count the Ipsum as a sedan. Yes, Charles, look front seat there, you know. Yeah. So we think of the Ipsum as a sedan as well. We think of we can think of a Noah as probably an SUV. Yeah, but yeah. So today we're going to be weighing them to see which one should you buy and why. It helps to know why most people buy a certain type of car and not the other, because then it can help you in making your decision of which one to buy when it comes to time to buy. So of course, among the SUVs we have Twinamu, the RAV4, the Harrier, and of course Harrier, we have a lot of variations of the Harrier. We have the ordinary Harrier, which has the 3000cc version, and it also has the 2.2cc. Then we have the Kaundo, which comes with the 2.4 and 2.4 and 3.0cc. Even the Harrier, the first version of the Harrier has a 2.0cc, but then all the new models actually 2.4cc. So as you're going to buy a Harrier, the newer model, most of them will have a 2.4. So better watch my you buy a Harrier wanga Kaundo. So if the value doesn't correlate for you, then just go ahead and buy a Kaundo. Then we have the favorite for people now, the Toyota Rush, which is not as big, but also you're driving an SUV. So if you're a first-time driver and you have your car money, because I find that the Rush is totally too overpriced. The Rush is too overpriced. Then we have those tiny cars that I normally don't recommend. Good morning, Martha. I hope you're good. Those cars that I don't recommend. Like there's that thing, the Pajero Mini. Forget about the Pajero GDI. The Pajero GDI has two versions. There is the bigger version, which one? The ones that the judges drive, and then there is the smaller version, the GDI still, the one where you can actually shift. The engine blows, you take it out, put the Noah engine or the Mark II engine, and you continue driving a Pajero, but in actual sense you're just driving a Toyota. So and then there is this Pajero Mini. That one I don't recommend. It has a 1.0cc engine, very good on the fuel, but that is one car that I only recommend if you're getting it from the bond or if you're a mechanic. What are the mechanic Jason? Then there is this there's a Terios. Highly not recommended. I totally don't recommend the Terios, but go ahead and buy your Terios. So you can definitely buy it and enjoy it. Then there is is that it also looks like a Terios, yeah? It also looks like a Terios. So you can also buy that one. This one doesn't look at SUV. Katugambi, even the Noah, we count it as an SUV, the Toyota Noah. And then the Alphard. Is it Ziba Noah? Ziba SUV, Ziba vans. They are vans, eh? They are vans, but let's calculate them there because the ML, Charles, I got a Benz, Charles, you love Benz. Yeah, Volvo AMLs. Then the Mazdas have their own SUVs that I have no idea what models they have. Then there is also the Volkswagen Touareg. Then there is why am I forgetting those types? You can remind me, just the way Charles is reminding me. Yeah. Of course, there's a the Amarok is a pickup. The Amarok is a pickup. Yeah, but there are plenty of good morning, Kenneth. There are plenty of SUVs around. And let's go to the sedans now. The sedans we have, of course, my Corolla is a sedan. Then we have the Primo, the most popular sedan in Uganda, the Toyota Primo. Both the old version and the new version, they make an impact in the market, because when you think about the old version, which has the ordinary and the super, the only difference is in the design, the maridadi that it has. The lights of the super are different, the bumpers are different, the interior is kind of different, they have better seats and all, but they all are the same. If you find a 2000cc Primo Super, 2000cc Primo Ordinary, they have more money. But anyway, the super is overpriced because, well, people like it, it looks nice. Then we go on to the Primo X, the new model. But also the new model has versions. There's what we call the C. The parking light has a C. Yeah, that's the sunlight coming out. It's coming out. And then I also have a shiny forehead. So the one that has a C, it also has a zigzag. Yeah, it has a zigzag gear lever. Yeah, that one, people like it because it looks really nice. Then Charles is telling us the Benz, the C200. That's my love, the C200. I like that kind of, but Charles, you like luxury cars, eh? You're talking about the Brevis. Never buy the Brevis. The Brevis has its own problems. That's why it's very lower price, eh? Yeah, the Mark X, that one you can buy. And contrary to what people say, the Mark X doesn't really consume that much fuel. But if you have few money for fuel, come on, the Mark X should be with the kind of luxury that it gives you. Then the Suzuki Alto, definitely. Then, of course, the Mazda Demio. You can't say Suzuki Alto and then leave the Mazda Demio out. Then we have, let me see. Yeah, I have plenty of Toyotas here. Then we have, of course, we have the Subaru. There's that Legacy. Yeah, the Nissan Note. Then we have Probox, Succeed, Raum, Spacio, Arion, the Alex. Let me see. There's a Volkswagen Passat. Sagara mgamenyo gela Toyota Zoka. Then there's a Golf Njogedeko, Benz to Jogedeko. Of course, the Mercedes-Benz compressor is one hell of a car. Na hii yetagagulanga, it's a second car, not a first car, because the inzo kutama ne kutamya ne moroka. Of course, the BMW, I have no idea. Of course, the only BMW I know is the BMW G-string. In that zona sizimanyi baziyita manyi G-string, because the G-string is very popular with the young people. Yeah. Of course, people are buying and a few months ago, you would have found that kanakamoro kabakaita bacha kano ka Toyota akagula enzigi ngara wum bananga kamoto kankira bidde. I need to eat eggs, eh? Majigi galeta memory. The Polo, avoid the Polo at all costs. I had it, avoid the Polo at all costs. Avoid the Polo at all costs. Kanokachi ISIS. No, that's not the ISIS. Kalia Kala. Smaller, but it's still 6-7 people. But then I go get a new Nimbagamba gearbox yako mujege. Yes, the Sienta. Yeah, the Toyota Sienta. Then plenty of cars, by the way. Then of course you'll think about the Paso. Yeah. We have plenty of cars that can go in the sedan category. Now, before someone decides to buy either the SUV or the sedan, yeah, there's the Vitz as well. Charles, the motor can go zimanyi banangi. There's a Vitz as well. I'm even forgetting the cars. There is a Chivina. That is Chivina. What they encardinate, don't forget about it. Then there is a Chikumi as well. Chikumi Kumi. Then there is the Mark II. And then the Mark II has two versions. There is a Mosota. But don't forget, when you're buying a Mosota, don't buy the one that has a Kagongo engine. Mugongo, Martha calls it Mugongo Gwambwa. You buy the Mark II that has the Beams 2000 engine, okay? Toyota Crown, Urumbe. Toyota Crown Rumbe. It's very comfortable. Get to a time to sell it. Rojo Kumanya, but it's a comfortable car. Which tegeera. Of course, the Ipsam, Matthew was saying, Ipsam, you saw the Nadia. But of course, on comparison, both these cars, Nadia and Ipsam, I'll definitely encourage someone to buy the Ipsam. Because trust me, the Nadia ngeriku at 8 million, Ipsam at 8 million. Of course, the Ipsam would be better because the Korea Sente. The comfort between the Nadia and the Ipsam, tewali difference. The only thing that happens is that the Nadia, a Inamu version, is a 4-wheel and is a 2-wheel. Ipsam is 2-wheel. Which take it. Of course, Ipsam is a 4-wheel. The reason why people don't like 4-wheel drives more than Moroka is because the 4-wheel drive versions, that's what they say. But I drove a 4-wheel drive Kaldina and I see about difference. I see about mafuta again. Which take it. Omuntu bwobanga tolina sente bulungi, you always find reasons to not drive certain types of car. Naye nga nze mbadde nga ndaba sirabawo nnyo njawulo, sirabawo nnyo obuzibu lwa salaba Kaldina sajira bwenyo. There is of course the Toyota Fielder. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much, Charles. The Fielder. Then of course the Fielder came with the Wish. Kanate Wish tesobola gibaliramu SUV, tesobola gibaliramu van, ekyali yeno mu SEDAN zaffe. Okitegeera ne ISIS ekyaliyo mu SEDAN zaffe. What other cars can we talk about there? Now, but you have to understand that the most popular sedan today in Uganda is the Toyota Primo. That cannot be disputed. So if you're going to buy a car, and Charles, and luxury cars, of course the Nissan Fuga. But the Nissan Fugas have disappeared on the road. I don't see them anymore. Of course, there is a Nissan Fuga. There is a Nissan Skyline. Those cars are very comfortable. I don't know why nobody is driving those cars anymore. I think I should just find out. But there is a time when you drive and every 20 minutes you find a Nissan Fuga or a Nissan Skyline. Yeah, of course, Solomon. Your Kosa is yeah, your Kosa is a sedan, Manang. But then you with the Moroka affair, your Kosa. But of course, there is a hatchback Kosa. Yeah, but the Kosa is also a sedan. Which cars? But the Nissan Fugas and Nissan Skylines are lost on the road. I don't know why. About Tibachazi Fuga. Either Zifanyo, Starlet is a hatchback. Yaneka Nayo to Jitwai the sedan. They started Nazote Zicha. I think the Starlets are lost because, well, first of all, the spare is not as common as it used to be because there's a Moroka around Tibachazi Fuga. So even the people that are importing spares, they don't bring the Starlet spares now. But yeah, let's think about it along those lines as well. Of course, the Golf 4, Saga Mujera, we did the Golf 3. The Golf 4 is the comfortable version of the Golf 3, but I think the Golf 3 is actually easier to maintain than the Golf 4, which is why you'll find that the Golf 3s will outlive the Golf 4s. You get, yeah, just the way the C200, the old C200 might outlive the compressor. Yeah, but time will tell, definitely. Time will tell. You find that also the old Primo might outlive the new Primo. You get, yeah, but that doesn't take away the fact that the Primo is the hottest sedan on the Ugandan market. Now, when we go to SUVs, I think the Harrier currently is the hottest selling SUV. Forget about the BMW X5, X6s. Those ones. The person buys the BMW X6 nga inayoka RAV4. Obanga inayoka Harrier. Obanga inayoka Primo. That's one thing I've realized. But currently, the Harrier, especially the Kaundo now, I can tell you that you can find, especially when you're buying the 3000cc model, Banang, they are cheap. The old model 3000cc, you can even buy it at 5 million. But you buy it, you feel it in mafuta. Oh, we have forgotten to talk about the Kruger. We have also forgotten to talk about the Nissan Bajita Batya. That Nissan that looks like a Kruger. Charles, go in list your luxury vehicles. That Nissan that looks like a Kruger. Nissan X-Trail. Yes, the Nissan X-Trail. Yeah, the Nissan X-Trail and the Kruger imotoka PM. It's just that one is easier to maintain than the other. You'll find that the X-Trail consumes less fuel than the Kruger. But then when you go to the market selling the X-Trail, you'll find the X-Trail being sold at 8 million, nga Kruger 20 million. Same condition, same number plate. You get what I'm saying? But also when you're buying a Kruger, make sure you don't buy a 3000cc. Yes, mwezili. Because if you buy a 3006 that has a V engine, egenda kukota ekutamie motoka Vanguard. Yes, thank you very much. The Vanguard is like the improved RAV4. Yeah, the Vanguard is like the improved RAV4. Much more comfortable, bigger space. I think the Vanguard is actually 7-seater, but the RAV4 is 5-seater, 4 passengers, 1 driver. Yeah. So tell me, you guys, why would you buy an SUV and not buy a sedan? Why would you skip my Corolla and go ahead to buy a Harrier Kawundo? As you tell me your reasons, I'm going to try and tell you why some people choose to buy SUVs. Now, a few days ago, I got a text message from one of my followers here. He wants to buy a family car, and people were recommending to him to buy a Nua. Okay? He has a family of, let's say 5. He is number 5. Yes, the Nissan X-Trail. He is number 5. Then the other people are 4. And he wanted to buy a Nua. But then again, people are telling him the Nua consumes fuel. Which is true. Nua enywa mko kumafuta. When I was building here, we used to come in a Nua and we would use 50k every day. Then I had a Polo, which used to like 10k to come here and go back. But of course, don't buy a Polo. What they tell you. Then he talked to me, and one thing I've realized, let's talk about the Nua first of all. People that buy Nuas and Ipsams, okay, Nua, Ipsam, most of the times those people are business minded, okay. He buys or she buys a Nua and she's thinking, what other thing can I use this Nua for other than driving to work? Good morning, Nico. So that's why most times it's very hard to find someone currently 2022 2023 someone just buying a Nua yevugemu nti kangule Nua ngendenga ku mulimu twala abana kusomera abange. No. Most people that have bought those vans buy them to use, of course, to use them for their personal work, personal travels, but also use them as business. Okay? Kakati gwe bwoba ogenda gula Nua oba Ipsam, think to yourself, is this car going to be driving me to work, taking only my kids to school, and then I park it at work or park it at home? In a way, it doesn't make sense because the maintenance is not that cheap. So this person had 2 options. They either wanted the Nua or a Primo, and I told them just go with the Primo. The Primo can take you 5 people family, and as well, it consumes less. And as well, it have a high resale value because this person's budget was about 15 million. Now, I think he went on to buy. I did not go with him. But still, Primo would make a much better choice. In terms of buying Bobanga, you have a small family and you don't hope to use. But even if for business, even a Primo would do business because the Primo would be hired at 100k a day. But right now, finding someone to hire a Nua is also a tug of war. But people hire Primos every day. So Charles is saying that SUVs like the ML320 is comfortable and better ground clearance. Yes, exactly. That's what I was coming to. Now, Charles, apart from the comfort and the ground clearance, what more do you get from the ML that I can't get from my Corolla? That's the question. I mean, what more do you get from the ML that I can't get? And by the way, when you think about the ground clearance, I will tell you that nange moroka yange nsobola okugiwanika ne nteekamu spacer. Space emu bw'egaana and I put 2 spacers. I put it up. Bw'ebigaana I put bigger tires. I can put 15-inch rims. Yes, even without rims, I can put just bigger tires, like tires that don't stroke. I put and then it goes up, and then I get bigger ground clearance. And also, there are cars that are not SUVs. We can't count them as SUVs, but they give you ground clearance, like the Nadia, especially the 4-wheel drive. It's actually high. But even the Ipsam, you can put 15-inch tires, you can put spacers, put bigger shocks, and it will be really high. But even without putting all those things, I drove the Ipsam for like 3 months. Was it 3 months? I drove it for like a month, I think. It was actually high. It was high. It had good. You'd sit no Uriangoli were good. That's one of the reasons why people buy the Raum. That's one of the reasons why people buy Sienta, because we are too much. So I've realized that actually what most people are not looking forward to. When people buy, I was talking to a lady last time, and she was saying the reason why she wants to buy a Pajero or a RAV4 is because when she sits, she's actually up like this, so she can see the ground more than you can see in a sedan. You at times find sedan, SUV at the same price range, so you find a tag of Charles, which one, for example? Because if you find an SUV priced at the same level with a sedan, then you have to find out what problems that SUV has. Because SUVs are supposed to be much more expensive because they are luxury vehicles. Like the ML. The ML is a luxury vehicle. Not just the fact that it's an SUV. It's a Mercedes-Benz. Which again, Mercedes-Benz in its entirety, good morning, Seth. Mercedes-Benz in its entirety is supposed to be luxury. Mercedes-Benz reeks of luxury. Just the same thing with the BMW, the same thing with the Volkswagen. That's why, read about these cars, and everywhere you'll find they'll tell you Mercedes-Benz, all German vehicles, let's just say all German vehicles are not meant to be daily drivers. Ochitegera zino Toyota ze moroka zo inovuga buli ze bakora okuvuga buli lunaku nga tekafa kana akamoroka kange bannange mukama akasasi. Japanese cars and mostly Toyota are what were made for daily drivers. Ochitegera. So the other cars really luxury. So I'm thinking to myself, why would I buy an ML at 15 million? Okujja ko ngo oyagala kubona abona nansi, oyagala kuchawa abantu. Charles, from my experience, the Mercedes-Benzes are not reliable. Yes, let's just keep the respect. The luxury, the comfort. That's what comes from the SUVs, right? But I've seen people downgrade from BMW X5 nagenda mu Vitz. Nasooka alazo manchi bagamba okuzzaako ebigere bisatu emabega osobola okudda bitaano mu maaso. That's what happened with the guy. Yali avuga BMW X6 n'agitunda $1,010,000. You can imagine selling a BMW X6 at 10 million to go buy a Vitz at 12. So that's what happened. And sometimes abantu abotobanenya, they've probably seen the trouble that comes with. I could never in my life think of buying an SUV that is not a Toyota. But even in Toyotas, nazo rondamu. Yeah, we did not say the Toyota Land Cruiser is also that popular, very popular SUV. The Land Cruiser is too popular on the road that you cannot count 20 vehicles without finding at least one Land Cruiser. In the past, for try to could have the people that were born in the 90s, when we were growing up, they were the Pajeros, because the Pajeros were the government vehicles then. Of course, judges still drive Pajeros because they get them. The SAF, Solomon. Yes, I was in love with the SAF when I was growing up. Narinjagara SAF, it was comfortable. It was, I used to love the SAF. But then as I grew up, I realized that actually the SAF that I used to love doesn't look, but there's a new model of SAF that actually looks really nice. And I think it's much more reliable. But the SAF, Solomon, the SAF has the same engine as the Land Cruiser Prado, the other version that has the NZ, the KZ engine, which tegeera. So atengezo engine, it's just maintenance. Once you maintain it properly, but bwekakutanda and you buy a SAF that has a petrol engine, that's the day you're going to know that fuel is expensive, because the petrol SUVs ziba ziwuta. Ask any MP that has a petrol SUV, and majority of the time you'll find that he has that SUV and a Primo, and he only drives the SUVs Kumikoro. When he's going for normal business, they drive their Primos. When you're buying an SUV, it's always better for you to just buy a diesel version. Of course, diesel maintenance is very expensive, and I actually think that currently, in the past, people bought diesel vehicles because diesel was cheaper by like 1,000 shillings. But today, go to any Shell petrol station and you'll find that actually diesel is much more expensive than petrol by like 200 shillings, which tegeda. So I don't know. But there are cars that are, people drive cars that are 4,000 cc, and I'm imagining, how do you do it? Like I can't even drive a car that is 2,000 cc. I want to go back to the Mark II, but the only reason I want to go to Mark II because I drove that Mark II nga nnyo omutwalo gumu ne ngende Kampala n'enzira ye wange Kasangati 10k. It has a VVTi engine 2000 cc, and I find when I drove it yali tenywa nnyo. But I also know someone kyemmanyi naye alaba, he used to have the same Mark II n'agitunda bwe yadda mu kyalo gye yazimba n'agitunda n'aga Mark II sijja gisobola, n'afunayo oba yafuna mmoroka kyawo oba n'afuna kikumi awo for some time anyway. So the reason why people buy SUVs, do you remember the hard bodies? I don't see them anymore. What happened to the Nissan hard bodies? Actually, Seth, the hard bodies are still on the road. I have a relative that recently bought a hard body. Nissan hard body. The reason those vehicles are not too popular is because of maintenance. Any car that you don't see on the Ugandan roads speaks very expensive maintenance. Any car that you don't see common on, yeah, they are there. And Chris Da Vinci, I think most of the hard bodies that are on the road are companies. I think mostly MTN drives the hard bodies. MTN is the biggest driver of hard bodies. Some companies wait away from the hard bodies. There is this other pickup. That companies are driving. But you could it brand new. It's not a hard body, but it's a Mitsubishi, I think. And forget about not the L200. No. I think it's a Nissan as well. What's that car? They bring it when it's new. The hard bodies are, remember, used to drive the hard bodies an MTN. Okay. But there is another car that now, no, not the Terrano. Yeah, but of course, people, avoid the Nissan Terrano. Yeah. I have a story about the Terrano. So, one time, I travel abroad, and a friend of mine, when I'm coming back, a friend of mine decides in Kabanone. So they picked me up in a Terrano they had just bought. They didn't really buy it. You remember this guy called the guy that used to be a very popular estate broker. Yadiawe one ganga YMCA. He used to advertise a lot. I don't remember his name. So he sells their brother a super custom about, I think he sold it to them about 18 million. So then he comes and steals the car from him again on gunpoint. So this guy fights. He had some army people. He went to court and all. And then they did not give him the super custom, but to cool him down, they gave him a Terrano. Guys. So they get this Terrano guy named Mutowa Jira Yefuka. So Mutowa Jokuno na airport, and they are driving this Terrano. I can tell you they had a 10-liter jerrycan of water in the car. And I think driving, I used to live in Chebando then. Driving from Chebando to Entebbe airport, they refilled the radiator like 10 times. And when we were coming back from the airport, we still went to the toilet, filled our 10-liter jerrycan. Yeah, at first I didn't know. I just saw this nice car, it's luxurious. The thing would overheat. Every like 5 kilometers, you put more water. Every 5 kilometers, you put more water. Let me tell you how the story of the Nissan Terrano ended. So they have the Nissan Terrano. Afterwards, they decide, okay, let's work on the overheating. And normally when it's overheating, you say, let's take off the cylinder head. Let's go reface it, put a new gasket, and poof, we are done. So they work on that. They put a new gasket, reface the cylinder head. the overheating stops, but now the car doesn't have power. Nebagamba now, I think the mechanic or abagamba, I think let's work on the injectors. They work on the injectors, they refuse. Then the mechanic tells them, let's buy new ones. Because the injectors are like the nozzles. So they buy new injectors and the car still doesn't have power. Then the guy tells them the power, the turbo. Mwe, wetuogere dawo yaka spending $1 million in Gabidi. So they go work on the turbo, they repair it, they bring it, refuses. Then the mechanic tells them, let's just buy a new turbo. They buy a new turbo, the car refuses. I don't remember the other things they worked on, but I think he spent in total like 5 million. Until the guy gave up Nagama and said, Terrano nkoze njita de na jita. Now, let's go of the Terrano. Do you know how much they bought that thing? Remember, he bought a super custom at 18. He was duped, given the Terrano instead. That's 18 million. He topped up a 5 million trying to repair it. That's how much? That's around 23 million. Do you know how much they bought that car? 2.5 million shillings. They gave him around 1.8 first. And then they kept, you people, leave the Terranos alone. The same period when the Terrano was being worked on, there was this car called the Big Horn. I think the Big Horn is an Isuzu. The Isuzu Big Horn. So the Isuzu Big Horn had basically the same issues. Okay? Injectors, overheating, turbo. Injectors, overheating, turbo. Injectors, until the guy gave up. It had very good tires, very good interior. Those cars, very nice body. But you know how much they sold that Big Horn? 2 million. People, you guys love SUVs, but man, forget about the current SUVs, the Harrier. The Harrier is in its own league. The RAV4 is its own league. Okay, but SUVs that are not Toyotas, the X-Trail. I have a story about the X-Trail. So this one time I'm driving a Dudu. My mechanic, my Dudu gets a problem. They send me to a mechanic that is good. He was really good. He was good. Because this Dudu disturbs me, and the problem all along was the timing. So I go to this guy, Naji timing and it. But the guy has an X-Trail in his garage, and he told me the X-Trail belonged to an MP. Nainga MP Yamutama. So he gave it to the mechanic. I can tell you that when an X-Trail decides to start disturbing you, you will become a mechanic. But this thing applies to most of the Nissans. So the guy kept driving, and spanned the toolbox in the car because his X-Trail would decide to break down at any moment. And at that moment, when it breaks down, he would have to just repair. But he was a mechanic. So they would come to repair my Dudu at my home, and they would come in their X-Trail. It was manual, which made it a little more powerful than the regular cars you get. So those are the stories about SUVs that I have. See, why it is. So Charles talked about the Regias, yeah, Regulus or Regias. I think you're trying to say Regias. Now the Regias is a very reliable car. The Regias has only one problem: fuel consumption. It's 2.4 cc. And I have a friend of mine who took it to Mbarara, and we are talking about a year 2019. Okay, guy goes to Mbarara, I think he uses about 250 to go to Mbarara, just comes back 250. So he's 500,000 just go to Mbarara and come back. In my Corolla, I use about 120, 130. So I think you can gauge. Toyota Regias, the problem is fuel. No, the Regias is actually, yeah, the Toyota Regias. The Nissan is, what's that Nissan that's the van? The Nissan, one that looks like the one that looks like Regias. Yeah. But the Regias is very comfortable. It's one car. Then the Toyota, the ones that are used as ambulances, they are good. So let's go to the reasons why people actually buy SUVs. Now, of course, the ladies, I've talked to several ladies, and the reason why they want to be high in the air is because when you're driving sedans like mine, you don't see the end of the bonnet. So because you don't see the end of the bonnet, chances are high for you to kurubura other people's cars. But with SUVs, you're actually seated up like this. You can actually see the end of the bonnet, which means you can have much more comfortable experience driving. And I think that's the other reason why ladies like super customs and all that, because they are seated up and like the end of the bonnet is here. So eri kumpi wano, so you can see properly as you drive. So they drive for the comfort of driving. Yeah, the Nissan Elgrand. Thank you very much, Chris. Still, the Nissan Elgrand, the problem with that car is maintenance. We turn the cocoa chocolate, chocolate. Zinywa, the Elgrand zinywa. I think the one person that I used to see driving Elgrand comfortably, atene katareka agenda kuchibali wamita Emperor Orlando. I don't know about musicians that going kucheyo in their late years. They get to a time and they have a lifestyle that is too high maintenance and they cannot maintain it from here anymore. I have no idea. Superstar, I don't know what happens. Anyway, so people buy SUVs for one, prestige. JK was telling us about a friend of his who has a Harrier Kaundo. And the fuel is too expensive for him, but he's not giving up on his Kaundo because he says, that's why, guys, I normally tell you, don't take a lift if you know you can't take the stairs down. If you know you may not be able to afford an SUV at this time, don't buy an SUV, because the only SUV probably that is 2000cc would be the RAV4. Also the Rush, the Toyota Rush is 1.5cc, but the Rush is too overpriced. You'll buy a Rush in the bond at around 42 million, but come on, 42 million for a Toyota Rush, you better love it that much. 42 million. There are cars that I find to be overpriced. The IST is too overpriced, but that's a story for another day. The Toyota Rush, as we speak currently, is the only SUV that is reliable, okay, but also consumes less fuel. Yeah, SUV your car. The other SUVs probably RAV4 is RAV4. You can find the RAV4 like 2003, 2004 models that have a 1.8cc engine. But other than that, the RAV4 zona zigenda kuwuta nawo byetamwe. Okitegeera. I know people that have sold their RAV4s nebadda mu Primo Super. Hey, nomuddawo muzanya n'amafuta. And the fuel from this year is a bit, but last year people sold RAV4s. Nebaga why the RAV4 givuddeko sigisobola. Nenga, it's not that it's just the fuel prices that actually went high. In terms of liters, the RAV4 is still fair. Okitegeera. But people buy those cars for, first of all, the prestige that comes with driving an SUV. Ndimbire. That's one. And I think ladies are one sex that likes that Ndimbire, Mvuga Pajero, Mvuga Harrier to be up there. Those are the first culprits. But also there are men that like being up there, the prestige. I'm definitely not one of them. Nze moroka kasitentuusa gye ndaga. Sifayo banvuga moroka kyo banvuga moroka kika. Nze kasitantuuka gye nkola ki? The goal is point A to B, B to A. That's my goal. But if you're the kind of person that doesn't care about point A to B, B to A, and you want to really feel comfortable driving your car, and you want people to look at you and say, hey, Charles Yachikuba, you can go ahead and buy an SUV. Of course, sometimes I write things yeah, people like them because they are raised. But sometimes, if you're in a business like real estate, an SUV will definitely work for you, because the person sits in your SUV guy. So it might actually work for you. That's why you'll find that majority of guys are in real estate katibavuga Harrier, Oba Noah, Oba Kruger. They drive those big cars, because those big cars come with the perception that omuntu ono tali bubinyo tajja kukola ki. tajja kunziba. However, the SUVs have a downside. First of all, omupiira ogugenda ku SUV yonna ng'oggyeko buno bwe tutaddeyo buteesi Nuwa. The Nuwa is not supposed to be in the SUV version. The Nuwa is a van. It should actually be in the sedan category. Kakati omupiira gwa SUV entuufu, omupiira gwa SUV entuufu, let's look at the Harrier Kawundo. Each tire will cost you a minimum of 250k. Okay, that means to put tires on that Kawundo you need a minimum of 1 million, and I'm just guessing. I've not really bought that tire recently. That's the price of from like 2020 2021 250. You'll find that you can end up buying a tire at 350,000, which means a minimum of 1 million and 200,000 goes to tires only. Okay, now should you get an accident and the rim breaks, God forbid you get an accident and the rim breaks, each of those rims, because the rims for my size 14 rims, four rims are 900k. Now you can imagine the rims for an SUV, which take as a million in H200. Now we're going to the normal maintenance. Now the fuel, a liter for my car, a liter goes for 14 to 15 kilometers. AC kange. But a liter mkawundo again for 8 kilometers, 6 to 8 kilometers. That means from for you to drive from Kawempe to Kampala Central Business District and back, you use 3 liters. Gwe mutwalo gumu n'ekitundu. Okay? Gwe mutwalo gumu n'ekitundu. From Kawempe to town and back, and it might actually not be enough. Which take it. Now just imagine driving from my area, from my game park here. You may end up using about 60,000 to 70,000 at the current fuel prices. Which take it. When you think about it, it's not worth it. Most of the people that live in the estate that drive those big cars, bakolira in the nearby towns, Matuga, Kawanda, tagena mtown, because that thing cannot be fueled efficiently by someone gachete tenkanya. So we have looked at the tires, we have looked at the fuel, but let's just look at the maintenance. If a shock in my car, the shock that I put in this car is the shock that goes to the Primo. A pair costs me about 250k. Okay, now a pair of shocks for the Kruger will cost you about 300 and 350. You get. For the X-Trail, a pair will cost you about 500k. That's why I normally tell you guys, buy Toyotas. The Toyotas are easier to actually buy spares for. Now, of course, in the SUVs, the spares rarely break down because they're SUVs. They're meant to be strong. But even me, and one thing you need to realize that makes SUVs complicated is that when the shock for an SUV dies, it's visible because ekuta mabweti. Nayenga atenze Corolla yange shock zisobola okufana otakitegera because already ya wansi. Nzo kuzaga inzo bagitise nnyo. Wa! Shock ziba zifudde. You get. Arthur, health SUVs, let me settle with C200 2000 model. Kati 2000 model CS compressor and a Charles like Mercedes Benz, you like luxury. But forget about the expense. If you want to buy an SUV, you have to make sure that you are a high net worth person. Or you have kasente. Tewete kanyanga Arthur. Boba wetete kanyanga Arthur. SUVs yojiro zesonyiwa. Ujiro voga moroka za fizineza. Wasikubo chali muntu wawansi. SUV ejja kulya ekulye ekutame. I know of a person that tachete tenkanya. He has some money. He has a Harrier Kawundo na ya inane Primo. See? Why do these people, someone was asking me why I don't talk about the Vanguard, and I was telling you the Vanguard is not too popular on the road. Okay, because most people that have a Vanguard have a Primo or something, or another car, or a Vitz or a Sienta on the side. That the Vanguard is a weekend car. Which ajijayo ku mikoro, ajijayo genda ku church. Which The way I would drive my Mercedes Benz, if I bought a Mercedes Benz, njivuga lwa Sunday kunda banti, hey, guy achagirina kyekyoka. But on the other days, bwe mankola emirimu gyange, vuga ka Corolla kange, akamanye ennaku yange. Ono namukadde wange amanye ennaku. So, anyway, so SUVs, one reason you should drive an SUV is if you're high net worth, ng'olina kasente, olina emizigo gyo gikuwa miliyoni nga 3 buli mwezi, no worries, awovuga kawundo yo. Because omanya ku 3 bw'onywa akakadde, era kale, oba otuusa okuba comfortable. Okitegeera. If you're still calculating the amount of fuel you put in your car, ng'okuteekamu emmotoka yo nebeera quarter tank of fuel, owulira oyonoona, leave SUVs alone. Because ogenda kuswala. Okitegeera. Before you buy an SUV, I would actually recommend, of course, apart from the rush, first of all, a person that buys a rush has money, because you'll buy a rush at around 40 million. And then it's a 1.5cc. So come on. The only thing, of course, what other expense do you put in that car? I'm after being younger Corolla yangi. But you have a lot of money, buy an SUV. It facilitates your work. Like real estate guys, buy an SUV. If you have a car for hire business, for example, get an SUV, because if it's in good condition. So why not buy it? But if you're like Arthur, you drive your family to wherever you drive them, and then you go to work. SUV. I've told you guys, I know a person that was driving an Alphard at my office. Yajiva kachalinya boda. I'm after gatu kanega muyinga. I think he lives in Chisasi, works at Albert Valley. I'm after gatu kanega kulachi. I'll give you another example. I know another person yali avuga nuwa. Na ava kunuwa. Na agula kaundo. Not yagula, actually, it wasn't kaundo, it was the Harry. Sorry, someone was calling me. My namukade is a UAM. So this person yali avuga nuwa, and he reached ndoza narabanga nuwa techa mujamu. He bought a Harrier. Okay? Harrier ajivugamu emyezi engena naji parking. Angeganye, guys, SUVs siza amuzanyo. This is one thing you need to know. Bobango chali muntu achetetenkanya. Don't top up again an SUV. Don't be in a hurry to buy an SUV. Yes, it's going to be very comfortable. Yes, to majority of people you look like you've made it. But so your Jackie was telling you he had a kaundo. Ninga na emulia. Atenga jeka inamuka sente. So the SUV, basically the reason you should be driving an SUV is a clear cut. You have a lot of money. It helps you with your work, or you hire it out. 3 reasons. But if you're a person, generally 3 reasons to buy an SUV. You have a lot of money. 1. 2, it facilitates your work. It makes you make a lot of money. 3, you hire it out. But I've found that if you have proper skill, you don't really need the car to enhance your value. If you have proper skill, nti omuntu alina skill ye, omuntu nga kyakola akitegeera ne bwajjanga avuga picha omulimu ogumuwa, because the person that knows what they are doing has probably been recommended by plenty of people. Okay, so I don't see why someone that has been recommended by plenty of people, you judge them based on what motor vehicle or what vehicle they drive. Okitegeera. You can imagine engineers drive pickups, those beaten up pickups, L200s, but they build very nice buildings. Anyway, but that's a decision for you to make. Go so okusala ono gamba sijja kufanga sivuze ku SUV kanjivugenga mo lunaku lumu mu week. That's still your choice. Tewali muntu agenda kusalira wonti owaye okyali munaku. Okitegeera. Tewali agenda kugamba nti owaye okyali munaku va ku SUV. But of course you gauge yourself kati njimanyi nkyali munako sida kinonya ku SUV mvuga na mukadde wange ne mukanika kati ngina musamu engine empya ataddebo pya mbenga avuge motoka ya bondi nga engine mpya. You get what I'm saying? But you know, normally I tell you guys it's mathematics. For me to buy a new engine at 1.9 and swapping and getting a car that I think is new that will have more problems, buying a new engine is better. And my engine is still okay because the engine yang bagenda jingulako. Before I go to buy a new engine, I'm going to go to a place where they're going to buy my engine. Mbalage mono keno mujidaba, engine mujidaba, mumpe kinana. Okitegeera. Omuntu angambe ngenda kuwa 7, mugambe mpa omwana, tuula wano. Then the boy will sit here again okujijjamu. Tugende bwe ngenda ogula engine. Nzije mwene yange nkadde sewali. Okay? Nteekemu eri empya boo. Ono abaraka sente kanga akampe. Nange ngatteko nsasule wali engine. So this engine is actually not bad. I just want to have a newer engine in my car. Can you find a Primo Super in the UB series and at what price range? Now, Primo Super UB series will be at around 15 million. Not worth it according to me. That's my opinion. 15 million you can get a new model. And the new model has more value than the Super. 15 million you can get a USZ. USZ ingazi 15 million. You can probably get a UAS, UAT Primo new model. And the new model, first of all, will have better fuel mileage. The new model, first, it will give you more comfort. And the new model Primo will give you higher resale value. Because trust me, Super katimuzagala because ze mumanyi. But give it 2 years. Together tukanga Super tuzugula million satu. Because ija tukanga nezichali katale moroke empya zija every day. You get it? And the more people make money, okay, the more they can buy newer cars. I don't know if I make sense. So the SUV to take it. So let me use the 8 minutes that are remaining to talk about the sedans. Kati emoroka z'abanako, emoroka ezitutegeera, zi Corolla, zi Primo, zi Sienta, zi Corsa, zi Ipsam. Which other cars do I have here? Of course, the Mercedes-Benz C200. My mechanic friend tells me Mercedes-Benz C200 ye Primo ya Benz. Bwowe yagala vuga Primo mu Benz, gula Mercedes-Benz C200. Okitegeera. Mercedes-Benz C200 ye Primo mu Benz. But he also tells you buy a Mercedes-Benz that is 2000 model and above, because spare yali was spare one model zili enkadde za Benz atawanya muzibu wa kufuna. It doesn't make sense for you to buy a car at evatandika okugiyiiya. Why do people buy these small cars? Fuel consumption is number one. I've told you a liter of fuel goes for 14 to 15 kilometers in this baby of mine. Okay? Nebe mankozeseza SC. And the motoka yange namukadde. Because it has about 250 something kilometers on the clock. 250,000. Kati enywamu ka oil katonotono. Enywako. But it can go from service to service ngato yongedde oil. It's just that by the time you get to do service of oil ngakozechi. And for me that's one of the reasons why I'm changing this engine. But people are driving cars neziva mu bonding azinywamu ka oil katonotono. That's not new. So fuel is number one. 2, maintenance is very cheap. Puzine Morocco. A tire for my car will cost me about 165, 170, 180. Okitegeera ate mpira guba mulungi gwengula ezo sente. Kitegeeza I will need about 800,000 to change all the 4 tires. Okitegeera. Yeah, you like the Benz C200. I also like the Benz. Now, yeah, I'll only buy it if it's a third or second car. I can't buy it as a first car. Emotoka ezo zina kuba ng'ogivuga ku Sunday, n'ogenda ku church, n'ogenda ku mikolo. Ne bagamba, mwami Sebadduka wuuyo baba, yayinzaawo ekyuma. Naye nga munaku za bulijjo Monday to Friday inayo kakololako kannamukadde kokola ki? Kovuga. But anyway, that's my opinion. Someone else would tell you something else. Nenga boba before your high net worth Mercedes-Benz sokoze esonyiwe. Because if you saw the interview that I did with the Mercedes-Benz mechanic Kasim, yagambanga yalwemugamba nekyesi kya bbeeyi ng'agamba ogenda okugula Benz oba ojagala. See. So Mercedes-Benz is a passion vehicle. And I think for all passion vehicles, tezetaga gulanga yesoka. You can actually collect 10 of them. Na yenga oinawe moroka endala gyovuga mu biseera bye eby'eddembe. Okitegera, because Mercedes Benz is that car that will have a part die ne bakugamba kya mitwalo 8. For me to buy anything, I'm telling you a full engine on my car is 1.9. Okitegera, is 1.9, and my mechanic is telling me sizimbire mu sente z'abakozi and ne engine nazo ziliko ba broke up. Sizimbire mu sente z'abakozi bagenda kumfunira engine ngampya ng'esinga ne engine ez'emmoroka eziri mu bond. Sente z'abakozi kitegeeza nnina okugaba sente z'aba broker for me to get a very nice engine. Yeah, but totally worth it, because if I put a new engine in this car, I can drive it for another 10 years. Nga terina kyekoze eki, nga terina kyebadde ate kati omanjisaamu oli oil oli ono mupya kasanvu. Okitegeera. Yeah, anyway, maintenance, fuel, but also the resale value and resale time. If you had a Kawundo, for example, and I had my Corolla, and I'm selling my Corolla 15 million, you're selling your Kawundo 25 million. The hardest bit about selling the SUVs is that it's very hard to find a Ugandan that has 25 million lying down there. It's very hard to find a Ugandan that has 25 million that has nothing to do. But you can find a Ugandan that has 10 to 13 million. They are looking for a car. That's why it's easier for me to sell my saloon or my sedan than it is for anyone to sell their SUV. So of course the resale value, and you know value is subjective. Why? Value for me is, do I get my money when I want it, when I need it there and then, and do I get the exact money? That's also value. But you can also think about value in terms of, do I get the money that I put in my car? Like I told you, I bought my car 5.5. And people are fighting now to buy it. Sagara kutunda. Because okuddamu okufuna emmoroka ng'eno ne bw'oba olina million 8, it's very hard to find a Corolla in the condition that my Corolla is in. At 8 million is hard. Nyensonga lwaki situunda wadde abaagala ogigula gye bali. Okitegeera. And also it has helped me make much more money. I use it for field work. But I also use it for when you guys give me money to do pre-purchase inspection for you. Oh, let me remind you guys, especially the guys abali Mokamori. I do pre-purchase inspection. Bw'oba ogenda kugula emmoroka, nkuyambako to inspect that vehicle for you to make sure that you tebakubba kyekisooka. I'll be giving an example. There is a guy that called me to check a car for him. Nemusanga mu bondi nga bagala muguza emmoroka eyina okuba million omwenda nga bagimuguza million 16. Ngali ready to pay. Nze namubuuza ne mugamba why ja tugende nkulaga emmoroka bwetyo yennyini. We actually got a better car than the other one at 9 million. You can imagine someone saving 7 million more. So I help you save money, first of all. 2, I help you to avoid buying faulty cars. I help you avoid buying stolen cars. I help you buy cars that can where you will not spend a lot of money repairing. I also help you get cars at resale, at wholesale price. I don't know how to term that, but basically it's wholesale. Solomon asolo bagambi eyagula kosa yaffe. Nti kosa essaawa eno onoonye emmoroka eringa eyiye mu ssente ze yagiguliramu bannange. Yeah. But all the people that we have sold cars to, try to find cars in those very cars they have in the price range, and you will note. So basically, I'll help you get a bargain on all the cars that you're going to buy. But still, you don't have to buy with me, but I offer my pre-purchase inspection services. 2022, the pre-purchase inspection is 350,000. 2023, ngenda kuba charging emitwalo 4. When you pay me 400,000, it covers a mechanic, it covers fuel, it covers me. Then we come and help you select a car. But in options of cars, we can work with you until we find a better car. That 400K covers 2 days of searching for cars. Normally, I've found that if a person that doesn't get a car in 2 days, that's one thing I've realized. Why? All the people that failed to get cars in 2 days have not gotten cars up to now. But what like in October, there's a person we look for cars for 3 days. Natafuna moroka paka katitagulanga. that can only tell you one thing. Either omuntu oyo yayita manyi kyayagala oba yayita alina ssente oba yaddayo n'azirya. So my pre-purchase inspection, by the way, it's better for you to invest money in inspection before you buy a car than for you to lose money later on. You can imagine a person that buys a car at 16 million nga inajigula million mwenda. Atuko okugitunda nga bamuwa mukaaga ng'alowooza nti it's just bad luck naye nga yagula bubi. Okitegeera. I also sell tracking devices. My tracking devices are 350,000 for the normal one. Then the tracking device that is voice enabled where you call, n'owulira abantu abali mu motoka bye boogera, it's 450k. Now, the difference is only that you can actually call and listen to the people in the car. All the other functions zisigala zezimu ng'ogyeko eyokola ki eyokuwulira. But the advantage of the calling feature on the tracker is that when someone steals your car, you can actually listen to them plan where to take the car. That's the advantage. Kyongezamu emitwalo egy'ekkumi n'ogula tracker emitwalo 45. I also sell alarms, 200,000 shillings, including installation. Okitegeera. Yeah. So you can call me up, you can WhatsApp me, and you ask me, for example, wowe yagala ogula motoka. Consultation over the phone, over WhatsApp is free. It's when you take me to the field that you have to pay my 400k. Okitegeera. Then I help you get a good car. So, of course, the sedans. Solomon Wuna Gamba inakosa 7 million. And it's very good. It's in good condition. It has a new engine, by the way. It's for the guys that want to save fuel on a budget. Ne essay kola. So you just go and buy that Corsa. So, when you gauge the SUVs to the sedans, it goes back to what is your net worth. Abagagga mugende mugule SUVs. Bw'oba okyetetenkanya ng'olinga Arthur, muganda wange, let's go with the sedans. You can buy luxury sedan like the Toyota Crown, like the Mercedes-Benz C200, like the Toyota Mark X, but sigala yeno wansi. Okitegeera. SUVs zino. Zabeimu. That's one thing you need to know. That's the disadvantage. Zabeimu, mafuta, maintenance. Okitegeera ne bw'oba otunda esobola okukusala ate okusinga sedans. But I've also told you in my previous videos that when you're getting ready to buy a car, bw'oba okyetetenkanya tandikira mu mmotoka enkadde. Ng'olina million 25 If it's your first car, don't use all that money to buy a car. Buy a car at around 10 to 15 million. Zisente zisiga zosoko zikozesa ebirala. First get used to driving a car. Osoko yige emotoka zirwala bino, emotoka ziba bino. Then afterwards you can buy a new car. But if you want to buy a new car ng'owulira ogyetaaga, still go and buy a new car. Don't forget, I know bonds where you can get almost wholesale price. Nga gwe emotoka ate nga class nungi. Nabagamba emotoka ezo ez'omu bond ziri mu class from 1 to 8. 8 being the best condition car. 1 accident cars. There are guys that go to the bond n'agula emotoka ng'aguze class 2 or class 3 ye n'alowooza aguze nnyo. Okitegeera because probably afunye bargain. Okitegeera ye n'alowooza afunye nnyo. Ffe bwe tugenda mu bond tugula class 6 and 7. Okitegeera ate ntuzigula at wholesale price. So anyway guys, thank you very much for making the time to watch this live broadcast. It really means a lot. Abantu bangi bakola broadcast zino ne batafuna bantu babalaba oba ne batafuna na engagement jenfuna. Namwe abali mu Kamoli, it really means a lot that you take the time to actually watch these videos. Crown versus the C200. Now, ate bw'oba comparing a Crown to C200, gula C200 because the Crown terina muntu ali passionate about it. But the C200 has people like you that are really passionate about them, people like me. But the Crown eyo giraba yamoroka omuntu gyagulaga tasobola kugula Benz. Okitegeera. So I think the comparison is as simple as that. If you're comparing Crown to the C200, go on, buy your C200. Crown ijiveke ejja kutama butami. So thank you very much guys for taking the time to be part of this broadcast. Let me just see the names. Manyi lwaki comment zange ziganye okujja. Abali mu Kamoli, Elamanoi. That's how they say, right? Elamanoi. Yeah. Thank you very much for being part of this broadcast. Martha, Ojadi, Gwebo Jandoza Mabula, mwino tutwala out for KFC. Nani, ne Emma. The Emma is not on. Charles was number 1. Thank you very much. Kenneth, thank you very much. Martha, Solomon, Nicole, Seth, Chris Da Vinci. Hey, thank you very much, guys, for engaging. Abali Mukamori Mbagaranyo, thank you very much for always taking the time to watch these videos. Don't forget, this is the most genuine channel on YouTube. We don't try to sell you cars. No. We give you information that you need, information that everybody needs for free of charge. Of course, naffe tulina we tuliira nze ne makanika wange tukuyambako ate okufuna emmoloka ne batakuba. Save money in terms of buying, but also save money in terms of maintenance, but also buy a car that will help you keep money in your pocket. Ekyo kintu kikulu nnyo. Titogenda gula mmoloka egenda kulya ssente ezikumaleko. Okitegeera nze kati kakolola kange kano ke nagula 5 ekitundu kati bampa milioni 8 saagala neyagala ngenda kasamu na yingini nyongere envuge. But anyway, guys, omwaka gusembedde. Don't forget to set your goals. I'm going to share thank you, Charles. But Charles, top papa gula Benz soko guleyo ka Corolla. Benz ojjaji gulanga sente zeyongeddemuko. Nkimanyi Benz eyo you're passionate about it, naye Benz soko ogireke, soko guleyo baka Alex, okitegere wo motoka obuli simple. Ate kati gwe Charles oli eye wamwe wala. Benz ejja kufiirako eyo. Nga buli lwefo olina okuyita makanika omuseemu emitwalo 6 ejja transport. Soko ogule motoka nga makanika be wamwe basobola nabo gikanika. Okitegeera. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this broadcast. I wish you a very lovely day. Tomorrow, because this is the last day of the year, I'm going to do an evening broadcasting. As I come from town, I'll try to do several interviews that I can do to Labenga Zidi live. Yeah, the broadcast will probably be 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. I'm going to schedule it. Mujja kujiraba. Temwera bilabana yewaga bagala okupa ku sente cheza tracking devices. Muzimpe. January, I'm going to be available for pre-purchase inspection. Na January pre-purchase inspection ya mitwala anatechali asa tumweta. Ntongedemu emitwala 5 because expense tukaneze yongera mukko. Ochile ate nchimanyi namwe temwagala tugenda ate batukube ekikopo bagala tulisa ka sente. Okitegeera. We are those guys that inspect your car tutali na sente eri. Nga fezo tuwadde zituba, that's why we limit the inspection to 2 days. Nti munaku 2 olina okubanga ofunye moto. And majority of the time we actually get the car in 1 day. Okitegeera. Okujjako ng'omuntu ye nga yetamanyi bulungi kyayagala. That's why normally when you tell me that you want to buy a car, I ask you what job you do, what number of family members do you have, what are you going to use the car for, and then to discussing, and then we find out the best car for you. Okitegeera. And then we start looking for that car in the best possible places. Okitegeera. Ate if you have money to buy a new car, then there is no way I would tell you to go and buy an old car boso urugule moroka empya. So chemamanya, even the bond, nemu bond wabaye moroka envundu, so be careful as you go to the bond to buy a car. Nemu bond wali moroka za accident, be careful as you go to the bond to buy a car. But anyway, atava kumulunja afa oza, I have to let you guys go. Have a very nice day. See you tomorrow evening. Ciao.